What if the person you loved the most was about to marry someone else? What if every smile, every step, every vow was a lie? This isn't fiction. It's a truth hidden in plain sight, a story of love, betrayal, and silence. Inside a church, filled with witnesses. Welcome to Unseen Romance, where hidden love stories are finally spoken. Today's story will make you question the meaning of loyalty, desire, and choice. If you've ever wondered how love survives in silence, stay till the end. And don't forget to subscribe, because some truths deserve to be seen. The church bells rang, echoing through the air. Jessica, the bride, smiled brightly, holding onto Michael's arm. Everyone saw perfection, a beautiful couple, promises of forever, and a celebration of love. But Emily, Jessica's younger sister, saw the cracks only she could see. Michael wasn't hers to claim, and yet he wasn't Jessica's either. For months, Emily and Michael shared nothing but glances, words unsaid, and moments stolen in silence. No one ever touched, no promises were spoken. But love doesn't always need words. It can live in the eyes. And on that day, as Michael walked towards the altar, Emily noticed it. His steps were steady, his smile rehearsed. But his eyes were searching for her. Just one glance, but enough to cut her heart open. Emily froze. The weight of truth pressed down on her. This wasn't Jessica's wedding. This was a performance. A contract signed with duty, not love. A ceremony that looked beautiful on the outside, but inside, it was hollow. The priest's voice echoed, "Do you take her as your lawful wife?" Michael's lips said yes, but his eyes whispered no. And only Emily heard it. Only she felt the betrayal that was dressed as celebration. The vows began. Jessica's voice was trembling with happiness, her eyes glowing with dreams of forever. She spoke of loyalty, faith, and eternal love. But Michael, his words were steady, but his gaze betrayed him. Every time Jessica looked up at him, his eyes darted, just for a moment, towards Emily. The crowd thought he was nervous. The priest thought it was emotion, but Emily knew better. Those glances weren't accidental. They were confessions. Silent, hidden confessions only meant for her. Emily's hands clenched around her dress. She wanted to scream, to stop the ceremony, to confess everything. But how could she? Jessica was her sister, and Michael. Michael had chosen this life, even if his heart belonged somewhere else. Every "I do" that left his lips was a dagger in Emily's chest, but every glance he stole was also a plea. Don't forget me. Don't think this is real. By the time the rings slipped onto fingers, Emily's tears threatened to fall, but she held them back. This wasn't her wedding. This wasn't her love story. It was her punishment. Watching the man she loved promise forever to someone else, while silently vowing eternity to her with nothing but his eyes. The reception was filled with music, laughter, and flashing cameras. Jessica and Michael swayed on the dance floor, looking like the perfect couple. Guests smiled, clapped, and recorded the moment. But behind the applause, another story was unfolding. As Michael held Jessica, his eyes wandered again, searching, restless, burning with something unsaid. And then it happened. Just for a second, his hand brushed Emily's as they crossed paths on the floor. A fleeting touch, almost invisible, but it felt like lightning. Emily froze. That single moment carried everything they had never spoken. The love, the longing, the guilt. She looked away quickly, terrified someone might notice, but she could feel Michael's gaze on her back, heavy, unrelenting. Jessica twirled in his arms, smiling, unaware that her wedding dance was turning into a silent betrayal. To everyone else, it was a perfect performance. To Emily, it was a haunting confession, carved into every step of the music. She couldn't breathe. She needed to leave, to escape, before the weight of his eyes destroyed her completely. But as she turned away, Michael's glance caught hers one last time. No words, no promises, just silence, louder than any declaration of love. The night grew quieter. Guests left, laughter faded, and the wedding ended. But Emily remained in the shadows, unable to move. She watched as Jessica leaned into Michael's arm, smiling with the innocence of someone who believed she was loved. Completely. Michael never looked back at Emily. Not once. Yet she knew, every step, every touch, every smile he gave Jessica was hollow. His real goodbye wasn't spoken, wasn't written, wasn't even shown. It was buried in silence, in the way he avoided one last glance, because if he looked at her again, he might break. Emily walked away. Not towards him, not towards her sister, but away, from both love and betrayal. She realized then that some stories don't end with closure. Some stories end with silence, with feelings that remain unspoken, lingering forever between two people who could never belong to each other. That night, Emily buried her love in silence. And Michael? He buried his in duty. But neither of them truly said goodbye. Their story didn't end. It simply disappeared into the spaces between heartbeats, where no one else could ever see. Some stories never end. They simply live in silence. Michael married Jessica, but his love for Emily never died. And Emily? She became a shadow in her own sister's wedding. Subscribe to Unseen Romance for more untold truths, because behind every smile, there's a secret waiting to be revealed.